Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we untangle the confusing language of corporate filings to find the juicy bits. Today we're diving into VOLITIONRX Limited's latest report, and let's just say there are some interesting financial maneuvers happening that might make you raise an eyebrow or two. Before we dive in, if you want to understand these corporate secrets, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you do not miss our next video. Also, make sure you join our Discord community linked in the description below. This report is from VOLITIONRX Limited, a company that deals in diagnostic solutions. It is an 8K filing, which means it is reporting a significant event that shareholders should know about. Now, the main event here is about the company issuing new shares of stock without first registering them with the proper authorities. This usually means they are doing this to raise money or settle debts with specific investors. The company entered into a purchase agreement back in May of 2025, and then they updated it in January of 2026. This agreement involves a senior secured convertible promissory note worth $7.5 million with an investor named Lind Global Asset Management, SEEK LLC, or Lind for short. So, on the 17th of February of 2026, VOLITIONRX handed over nearly 2 million shares of its common stock to Lind. This was to pay off a debt of over $400,000. Basically, instead of paying cash, they paid with stock. Then, just a few weeks earlier on the 29th of January, they did something similar, giving Lind another 2.5 million shares to cover a debt of over $500,000. And before that, on the 16th of January, they issued almost 2 million shares to cover another debt of over $400,000. The company claims these stock issuances were made under certain exemptions in the Securities Act. This means they are saying these sales were not public offerings and did not involve typical selling efforts like advertising or commissions. They were essentially private deals with an existing investor, and it does not stop there. The company also bought back some older deals. They mention another private placement from September 2025 where they issued over 483,000 shares of stock along with warrants. Warrants are like options that give the holder the right to buy more shares at a specific price later on. In this case, the price was about 68 cents per S-share. So they gave away shares and the chance to buy even more shares for less than $1 each. This pattern of issuing shares to settle debts or in private placements suggests the company might be facing cash flow challenges or is using its stock as a primary tool for financing. It is a common strategy, but it can dilute the value for existing shareholders because now there are more shares out there representing ownership. This section typically lists any financial statements or exhibits that are part of the filing. For this particular report, the primary focus is the disclosure of those unregistered stock sales. The main exhibit here is the cover page interactive data file, which is basically structured data that can be read by computers, often used for financial reporting. And finally, we see the signature block, indicating that the filing has been officially submitted by the company's authorized representatives. Cameron Reynolds, the Chief Executive Officer and President, signed off on this report on the 20th of February 2026. Now, looking at all of this, what is the story here? VOLITIONRX Limited seems to be actively managing its financial obligations by issuing new stock, often to existing investors like Lind. This can be a way to preserve cash, but it comes at the cost of diluting the ownership stake of all other shareholders. If the company's stock price is low, issuing a large number of shares means giving away a bigger piece of the company for a smaller amount of money or obligation. This is a critical point for any shareholder to consider. Are these issuances strategic moves for growth, or are they signs of financial strain? Without more context on the company's performance and cash reserves, it is hard to say definitively. The recent stock issuances, especially when a company is dealing with convertible debt, can create downward pressure on the stock price. When this debt can be converted into shares, and the company also issues shares to settle debt as we see here, the supply of shares increases. This can make it harder for the stock price to rise. So what is the verdict on VOLITIONRX Limited based on this filing? The company is clearly in a phase where it is using its equity as stock as a significant tool for financial management. The key question is whether this strategy will lead to future growth and value creation, or if it is a short-term fix that could harm long-term shareholder value through dilution. The lack of more detailed financial tables in this particular 8K means we're not getting a full picture of their financial health, but the nature of these stock issuances is a major red flag that warrants further investigation into their cash flow and overall operational performance. Alright, that is our breakdown of VOLITIONRX Limited's latest filing. What is your take on these stock issuances and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps us out. And remember to subscribe for more corporate deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord community in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.